revelation continued. In the proper way, Obinna went to seek Adama's hand in marriage. She was given to him with blessings. The elders spoke well, advising them to live in peace, and they blessed their union. The village gathered. Songs filled the air. Obinna carried Adama home, and they began their life together in peace. Adama entered Obinna's home and found more than marriage. Obinna's parents welcomed her with open hearts. They showed her kindness and treated her as their own. They guided her gently and spoke to her with patience. Soon, Adama carried a child, and joy filled the household like it had never done before. Obinna's home prospered. His wife was with child. His parents rejoiced. And two elders, who had once whispered, began to whisper again. They asked Ikenna when he would marry. They spoke of Obinna's success, and slowly they reminded him of what he lacked. Gently, they reopened old thoughts. The elders returned to Ikenna, and again they planted words in his heart against his own brother. They spoke of Obinna's success. They spoke of his happy home. They spoke of the peace that followed him everywhere. They asked why the younger brother had everything. They asked why life favored Obinna and not him. And slowly, envy took root in Ikenna's heart. For the first time, he looked at Obinna not as a brother, but as a rival, and bitterness settled quietly inside him. The revelation continued. Ikenna confronted his parents openly. He accused them of choosing Obinna over him. He blamed them for his lack of progress. He said every struggle he carried began in their household. He accused them of blessing Obinna while neglecting him. He said his suffering was born from favoritism. He said his brother's rise was built on what should have been his. And for the first time, he spoke not as a brother, but as a son who felt cheated by blood. With the king gone to seek the gods, and the chief priest already lost in vision, the weight of waiting settled on Ogbudu. The roads emptied, paths stood abandoned. The village moved in whispers, footsteps softened, voices lowered. Families prayed in silence, calling the names of their sons into the night. No drums sounded, no laughter rose. Doors closed early, families gathered indoors. Mothers whispered blessings over sleeping mats. Fathers feared what might return from the forest. The village grew quiet, not from peace, but from uncertainty, and the land waited for the gods to respond. The revelation continued. Troubled, Ikenna went back to the two elders. He asked what he should do to reclaim what he believed was taken from him. The elders did not hesitate. They said there was only one way. Obinna had to die. They said the people loved him too much. His parents would never turn against him, so his death must look like betrayal. They said the blame would fall on his wife, and the land would banish her. Ikenna rejected the words aloud, but he carried them home to sleep with. After wrestling with the words, Ikenna returned to the elders. This time he did not ask if it was right. He asked how it would be done. The elders were prepared. They gave him something to place in his brother's food. They told him when to act and when to disappear. They planned how the wife would be blamed, how the village would judge her, and how Ikenna would inherit everything. And Ikenna listened. It was an ordinary day. Adama prepared food for her husband. She set it outside and went back inside to bring water, while Obinna bathed. In that brief moment, Ikenna rushed in. He placed the substance into the food and left immediately. Obinna came out, sat down, and began to eat. It was boiled yam and onion sauce. Halfway through, he complained of pain. They dismissed it. He continued eating. He finished the meal. Then his body failed him. While still seated, his body began to convulse. He shook violently, struggling for breath. Foam formed at his mouth. Adama rushed to him, calling his name. She shouted for help. She screamed for the village, but the convulsions slowed. His body went still. Obinna did not respond, and before help could come, Obinna was gone. Adama cried out, her voice tearing through the compound. Adama's cry drew the village. People rushed in. They found Obinna on the ground, lifeless. Questions filled the air. Voices overlapped. No one understood what had happened. Adama wept, clinging to his body. Then his parents arrived. They fell on him, crying aloud. Elders were summoned. They examined the body and shook their heads in silence. The people began to murmur. Then a voice cut through. She served the food. After Obinna's death, the village turned its eyes toward Adama. When she walked past, eyes followed her. They whispered questions. They formed conclusions. The elders fed the doubts. They said the wife served the food. They said the wife was alone with him. They asked why she did not eat with him, why only Obinna died. Adama cried her innocence, but she was an orphan, with no father, no mother, no voice strong enough to defend her. After the sudden death of Obinna, the elders gathered. The king was summoned. He listened as the matter was presented before him. Elders spoke one after another. They spoke of Obinna's death. They asked questions among themselves. Was anyone present when it happened? Was there an eyewitness? Who could do such a thing and walk free? They said the land could not carry such a stain. They called it an abomination. The king listened in silence. The king considered the words and sent for the wife, Adama, to answer before him. The king sent 2 palace guards. They went to Adama's home and summoned her. They told her the king and the elders were waiting. She followed them to the palace. There the king sat. The elders stood ready. Adama was questioned. She spoke carefully. She said she prepared food as she always did. She said her husband ate. She said halfway through the meal, her husband complained of pain. They dismissed it. He continued eating. After he finished the meal, Obinna convulsed. His body shook, and he died. Before she could finish speaking, 2 elders interrupted. They shouted her down. They accused her openly. They said she murdered her husband. They said she must not go unpunished. Adama finished speaking. She swore before the gods that she was innocent. The elders argued loudly. Voices rose across the palace. They spoke of Obinna's goodness. They said such a death demanded punishment. They asked who else could have killed Obinna. Many agreed on one thing: the wife must not go free. The king listened, but he did not judge. Instead, he gave an order. Adama finished speaking. She swore before the gods that she was innocent. The elders argued loudly. Voices rose across the palace. They spoke of Obinna's goodness. They said such a death demanded punishment. They asked who else could have killed Obinna. Many agreed on one thing: the wife must not go free. The king listened, but he did not judge. Instead, he gave an order. Adama was to be taken away, locked up, until judgment could be passed. Adama was taken away from the palace. The guards led her to a small holding cell at the edge of the compound. She was locked inside, alone. Night fell. The sounds of the village faded. In the darkness, Adama wept. She spoke to the child in her womb and waited for a judgment she could not escape. Judgment Day arrived. Adama was brought out of the cell where she had been held and taken to the palace. The elders took their places. The king listened one final time. Adama stood alone. The elders argued among themselves. Voices rose. They demanded justice for Obinna, her husband. They told the king that the people of Ogbudu wanted only one thing at that moment: for Adama to be punished. The king spoke at last. Her life would be spared, but she would be cast out, banished from the kingdom. She would be sent to the evil forest, also known as the land of the dead, where evildoers are taken to go and die. The elders agreed, and the judgment was sealed. After the king gave his final judgment, Adama was sentenced to exile. She would be banished from Ogbudu and sent to the evil forest, the land of the dead. She was escorted back to the cell to wait until morning, an orphan, with no father to speak for her, no mother to cry for her, no one to question the judgment. At dawn, she would be taken to the village square to say goodbye to the land for the final time, before her journey began.